Welcome back, everyone, again for podcast number 20 with some new guests today. We've decided to get some hockey posts in this week because, we're a Rhode Island based podcast. So, obviously, we got to get some Bruins talking. That's what we're going to do this video. And then we're going to do another video after this doing NHL playoff predictions. But for this first video, we're going to just go over Bruins season outlook from this year, COVID season, obviously, and then look into their offseason as well. And then we'll get into playoffs the next video with the Bruins, obviously. But obviously, you guys know me and Kyle, part of the group. But this week, we got Mr. Ryan Kudish and Mr. Kenny Simonelli. If you guys want to introduce yourself quickly, go for it.
Can you have a party? Go for it, buddy.
You first.
All right. Well, my name is Ryan Kudish. I'm a avid hockey fan. Played when I was younger and been watching hockey for a while. And I'm excited for this Bruins offseason and postseason.
I've obviously never played hockey, but I'm a big fan of the Boston Bruins. So yeah,
we're all just
forward to the playoffs.
We're all just big Bruins guys, so we got to get this in. This will be a fun video to do. You guys already know where we're heading with this. We got to move into our sponsor. Obviously, Anthony's Jewelers is back again like it is in every video. You guys see the phone number over here, 401-996-2100. You can call, you can go onto the website, do whatever you guys want to do. You can come down here, click book appointment, which brings up your 6 options. It would like to, if it pops up right here, as you guys can see. And then you just got to put your name, email, all that fun stuff in, and then boom, you got your appointment. Very easy. Deals are still going on as well. So, but yeah, we're going to hop right into the Bruins. Just going to get some of their stuff up. Our first thing we want to talk about is the first half of the season. We got to see the Bruins kind of start off really hot, and then they kind of fell apart, and then they played kind of little bit over 500 hockey up until the trade deadline, and everybody wanted to call for Sweeney's name.
Yep.
But we'll let Ryan start this off.
Well, so what?
We're gonna let you start off the season outlook.
Awesome. So we also did get to see them play in a different scenery. We got to see them play at Lake Tahoe. Mm-hmm. Where they were playing at those beautiful reverse retros and completely destroying the Carter Hart's Philadelphia Flyers this year. But we started off pretty rocky. We were up and down. The question was going into the season was, could we find that secondary scoring again? And how is our young defense going to play out? Because we let Chara go. We really relied on the youth movement. We did bring Kevin Miller back. We really relied on that youth movement of Zaboro, Lauzon, Clifton, McAvoy, Grzelcyk. So we really relied on that young core. So it was really the biggest question was how that was going to pan out. And it definitely was starting to be a little rocky. Some games were pretty solid. Other games, you saw that those young issues. But as we moved into towards the trade deadline, and we realized we needed a better puck moving defenseman, we cashed in on Mike Riley, and boy has been actually a very extremely good player. He's got those 8 assists, which it's not the goal production. We don't really need goal production from him. He's been a great assist man. He's also been great at moving the puck, almost like what we wanted Matt Grzelcyk to be, but this is just a better Matt Grzelcyk here. And I really hope they bring him back this offseason because he's been a very solid player for us, and he's strived to play in this Boston area. But it's been great to see a lot of the young goaltenders as well. That was a big. That was something I was questioning. I was like, how great is our goaltending crop going to be? And we've definitely got 3 great young goaltenders in the system with Swayman, Vladar, and then there's also Kyle Keyser, who's been playing pretty well in Providence so far. He's had a solid year when one of our goalies was up in Boston. So he's been solid holding down the reins down there. He could be a potential player not very soon, but later down the line. He's pretty young, but it was good to see that we have a lot of younger goaltending, which is we can replenish when Rask leaves us. But definitely after that trade deadline, we saw a huge shift with this team to getting that more secondary scoring that we needed for a while. That was part of the reason why we lost to the Blues in the Stanley Cup final. We weren't able to find that secondary scoring after our first line, and so we definitely have found that with that great addition of Craig Smith, who's been a really impactful player alongside Krejci and Hall this year. So I really hope that they can keep that second line around, because both of them are UFAs this offseason, with Hall and Krejci are UFAs. So I really hope they can bring those both two back. But with how the cap situation that's going to be this offseason, things are going to be pretty tight. But I'm pretty certain they can hopefully get them back on team-friendly deals, because both of them are enjoying their time here in Boston, and I'm looking forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think that if you look at the first half of the season, we were just talking about this before we started recording, was the 8-1 loss at the trade deadline, like on the day of the trade deadline, really pushed like the Bruins to like, okay, like now we're struggling. We can't do another year of wasting Bergeron, Marchand. They're not getting any younger. Same thing with Krejci as well. Like you need to, okay, but yeah, we need to like, I don't know how to explain it. They just went out and got their guys, and I think that now Taylor Hall and Rhody has been able to see how this is going. So I think there's a good chance that they'll be able to stay. And I think Krejci's gonna be one of those guys as well. Like if he sees that they're playing well and they go far in the playoffs again, I think that he'd be willing, maybe not team friendly, like he'll still get money.
He's getting paid $7.25 right now.
He had a massive contract extension,
which is above his pay scale. I would not value him at 7.2. I would value him at around 5.5, 5, somewhere around there. So
yeah,
but I think
even to build on Hall, didn't he even say like it's been 16 games and it's the funnest time he's like ever had in hockey?
Oh yeah, this is
Already
he said this is the best team he's wanted to play. This is the team he wanted to play on. This is the best hockey he's enjoyed, and so I hope we can get him back, because right now we're paying him $4 million even, because
that's a steal.
Which is a steal for 14 points and 16 games, and 8 of them being goals. And he's been logging pretty solid minutes for us. I'm surprised he's not had as much power play time, which I would look to see if we'd start to get struggling in the playoffs, we could throw him on the power play. But
I think playoff time he will, because I'm not saying anything about defensemen, but the Bruins also have been known to toss a fifth forward in
which is a common practice in the NHL.
And we've seen Taylor Hall, since he came to the Bruins, become more active on both sides, between better pass. We've actually seen, like, he's known for scoring, but like we've seen how well he's actually a good passer. And
he's also made some good defensive plays. Yeah, exactly. He's played some great defensive hockey. He's been using his wheels to create some turnovers in the middle of the ice. So he's been a solid two-way player for us, which is something that Boston has always been known for, as two-way players. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why we traded Sagan back in the day, because he was a purely offensive player. And
and he partied.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that one. That pains me every time I talk about it. But
Mr. Tyler. But we're gonna let Kyle. What do you think? What stood out this year? I mean, there's not much really else to talk about with the Bruins, but what stood out this year for you, like for the Bruins?
The biggest thing that stood out for me was simply how they played in their schedule. We saw a lot of repetitiveness, with some games having been played 3 times in a row by the same opponent, and 2 having to go back and forth. We didn't know how travel was going to be. We also saw a few games that got postponed, specifically with Buffalo and New York. More with Buffalo, because they're in early February, we had those 2 games that got postponed. So Boston was basically like not doing anything for 1 week, and they didn't know how their season was going to be, where they would have to cancel a few games. But I think down towards the end of the season, where we had this little run between Tuesday, April 27th, and Thursday, May 6th, that really showed Boston's true potential, with going 5-0-1 technically on the scoreboard. That really made the difference between us making the playoffs and missing the playoffs. So when it came time to really show up, the Bruins did show up, and they got the job done, and now they have the 3 seed going in.
You could also say same thing here from this Tuesday, April. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Tuesday, April 13th through the 22nd, when they ended up running off 6 in a row, and this was right after the trade deadline, because you had 1 loss. And then Swayman got 3 of those wins. So 3-0 from Swayman, 3-0 from Rast. So that was good. And we did have 3 of those games against Buffalo, but the fact that you outscored Washington and the Islanders, 13-4 in those 3 games. So that shows, and one of those games including Swayman who had the shutout. So it's like Ryan was saying, Swayman is probably your future goaltender. I think he showed the most promise. I like Vladar too, but Vladar's come in and he's been a little flat here and there. Obviously, Vladar was actually part of the 8-1 loss, so I think
that wasn't really. It wasn't
really his fault.
It wasn't
More
as much.
defensive.
There were a lot of. I mean, that tanked his save percentage. It tanked his goal save above expected. It tanked his goals against average. So that game really tanked him. But but he really impressed me. He had some pretty solid games in there. I just think he's a guy that we're not going to play him next year. I'm sold on the fact that we'll have to bring Tuukka back for another year, which I'm totally fine with him and Swayman splitting time next year.
Yeah.
But if it would be the smartest choice to roll with Vladar and Keyser down in Providence for a year, and then whatever Tuukka Rask decides to do after next season, see what he wants to do and see how Vladar plays down in Providence. Because he went down to Providence and had some pretty rough games too. So I don't really know what that could have been. I wasn't able to watch the AHL games because none of them were on TV. But I was a big fan of Vladar. His name, you can make some pretty interesting nicknames with him, like Darth Vladar. But I've been a big fan of his. I've definitely been a big fan of Swayman since his freshman year at UMaine, because he was absolutely dominant throughout his 4 years at UMaine and won the Mike Richter Award last year for the best goalie in college hockey. So I've been a big Swayman fan for a while. Didn't know how he was going to transition into the AHL, but I was happy to see him really dominate the AHL at the start of the year, and he definitely was earning his role here in Boston as the backup goalie, because he's just so poised. He's so calm in net. He's always smiling, and the one thing, he's just super athletic. The guy does like this, I think it was like Chinese split before every game, and kind of showed off during the Behind the B episode. But the guy is freakishly athletic. Makes very good timely reads. He's always getting post to post. So I love this kid. I really hope that he can be a great goaltender for us in the future. But in terms of Vladar, I think he's got to have at least another year in the AHL before he becomes our full-time backup, and we can kind of transition to Swayman Vladar. Yeah,
it's fine, because like you were saying, if you can get Rask for another year, I think that if you go Rask and Swayman for next year, and then after that you can transition probably fully into Swayman Vladar.
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
Going on to a quickly last topic, we got only 3 minutes left on this, but I just want to ask everybody a quick question before we go. Who do you think was the biggest winner, not like stats wise, for this team this year, and the biggest loser? I'll go first. I think obviously the big winner, obviously so far, is Krejci. He was technically the biggest loser first half and then biggest winner second half, so it kind of cancels out. I'll give him biggest winner because I think that he now sees that Taylor Hall's got potential with this line with Craig Smith. So I think he's the biggest winner. Biggest loser easily this year is Charlie Coyle. Didn't really live up to what his contract got this year. You could have said Craig Smith, but he started off slow. And then he kind of piled together a really good second half again. Well, right before our second half. But you guys give me quick names.
Sure, I can give one. Jake DeBrusk. Very disappointed on his performance, because right now Taylor Hall's beating him in goals, and Taylor Hall's only played 16 so far. He already has 8. That's very sad.
Obviously, DeBrusk has 41.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out a name that a lot of Boston fans that really criticized him during the playoffs last year, and I was telling people, give him a second, just give him a chance, and that's Nick Richie.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Extremely well for us. Had potted 15 goals this year. Been an absolute. He had a lot of those 5. The 5 of those goals were power play. So he's been really able to help us increase our power play. The only problem is that -7 in the plus-minus department. Which he's on the ice for a good amount of goals, but he's also on the ice where he's helping a lot of those goals. So I was a big fan of Nick Richie. A lot of people were really trashing him. I know a lot of the local sports radios.
See it right here too. power play goals right here, 5 of them. He was, I think, like third or second on a team in power play goals so far.
Look
so.
at his shots. He
Yeah,
took
third.
121 shots this year,
which is good because I think he kind of took over Bergeron's spot a little bit because Bergeron's kind of in front, plays like a little bit middle. Richie kind of took over like that.
that big body, yeah,
That big
which
body.
we really needed. But yeah, so I'm not gonna say like the best benefit of the points was Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak. Those are all your givens. You know what you're gonna get from them.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see that Nick Richie was definitely deserved of that 7th man award because he went above and beyond. And my loser is what you guys said, DeBrusque, Coyle, but I'll also throw in Corrali in there. But
Yeah.
he's been fine on the 4th line along with Lazar lately. So.
All right, that'll be the end of our first video. Like I was saying, Anthony's Jewelers, the phone number is right here, links above. Call to make an appointment, go right online. But I think that's the end for our video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video. Hope everyone has a good day.